Bill is a computer scientist who has worked in artificial intelligence, tool design, and computational genetics. He has worked in research and taught most of his life, including positions at Stanford, Tufts, and MIT. Most recently, he was invited to give a talk to the British Computer Society in London. Please help me welcome Bill Lewis.
Thank you, Ruth. I should like to begin by introducing the VIPs in the room. These are the people who are making this district work. So I believe we have Division Governor Ruth Levitsky, and Division Governor Roger Svensson, and Division Governor Laura Fredsky, and we have some area governors, Diane Barnes, and Area Governor Bill Barnes, and Area Governor Renee Frizzetti, there she is, and our Lieutenant Governor of Marketing, Stefano McGee. Woo-hoo! Did I get everybody?
I want your money, right?
Aye. A couple of years ago, I was standing on top of Sugar Mountain in Northern California. It was a hot, dry day, and the entire mountaintop, the rocky, dusty dome, with scattered scrub oak giving a little shade to the blazing sun. I was wearing a down jacket, scarf, and gloves, and so was everybody else. Because this was the July 4th weekend in Lakeview, Oregon, and it was packed with hang glider pilots from around the world for the big fly-in. There must have been 100 gliders parked willy-nilly all over Sugar that day. Their upper surfaces gleaming white to reflect the UV rays, their lower surfaces a panoply of color and pattern, each glider echoing the unique personal taste of its pilot. Time to party in the sky! Except you have to get into the sky. And we weren't making much progress. You see, hang glider pilots bear a striking resemblance to lemmings. We will all bunch up at the edge of the mountain going, are the conditions good? Can we launch yet? You're never quite sure what the conditions are until someone flies. So they're this sort of pecking order, where the senior pilots push the junior pilots into launching early so that we can judge the conditions. On this particular day, there were already a half dozen pilots who had launched early and were scratching for lift at the lower elevation of Sugar. I was the next offering to the moon gods. As I stood on launch and felt my wing rise with the breeze, I noticed a great oak tree 100 meters down the hill was moving. Its silvery leaves glittered in the parched wind. Its branches began to sway. A thermal was coming. You could see a line in the dry grass as it moved up closer and closer. It filled my wing. I balanced for a moment, and then I began my run. 1, 2, 3, sprinting down the hill as fast as possible, then jerked off the ground by the intensity of the lift and thrown into the air, and up, even as I went prone and kicked in my harness I was climbing. My barrier was singing, beep, 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 beep. I pulled and rolled hard to the right and popped my nose out and entered a steep, coordinated turn at the very center of the thermal. Putting 2, 3 Gs, I held my bank and I skied out. My barrier was screaming 500, 1,000, 1,500 feet per minute straight up. In 2 turns, I was 3,000 over. I looked down and I could see my fellow pilots, lemmings that they are, dashing back to their gliders, hooking in and throwing themselves off the sides of the mountain as fast as possible. There was a churning sea of white far, far below me. But I was already gone. I had hooked my thermal, and I continued to climb as I drifted back behind Sugar into the Padango Valley. I turned off my Vario and reveled in the quiet. At 16,000 feet, I reached cloud base, and my thermal dissipated into a growing cumulus. I was on top of the world. It's actually not a good idea to spend too much time at 16,000 feet without supplemental oxygen. So I left my QE and pushed forward to the front of the Bidwell Mountains, where I spent the next few hours flying north past Lakeview to the top of the valley 100 kilometers away. I set up short final in an empty field and touched down lightly, a perfect no-step landing. My chase crew had beaten me there, and they applauded. What a beautiful day. The reason I was able to make this wonderful flight is because I had done the groundwork and preparation. You don't learn to fly by stepping smartly off the edge of a mountain into 2,000 foot from an inferno. You start on a 2-foot-high sand dune, you run like crazy, and then you crash. Whack! I ate a lot of sand when I was 20. As I improved, I would go up to Port Hunston on the coast of San Francisco and turn figure eights at the ridgelet for hours on end. Turning and turning and turning above those cliffs, trying to make each turn as perfect and coordinated as possible, feeling one with the glider as it slipped through the sky. That is what made me ready for the air. The same is true for Toastmasters. We take out our manuals and we practice and practice and practice. We vary our voices and expand our vocabulary. We learn to use gestures and shun the fearsome awe. Then, when our version of Big Air calls, we will be ready. It might be our first sales call. It might be a meeting with the big boss. It might even be an invitation to the British Computer Society. Whatever it is, we will be ready. No one ever joined Toastmasters to give speeches to other Toastmasters. So let us take our talents out into the real world, into the workplace, into education, into politics, and make the world a better place. Let us all launch into big air, and we can all soar with the eagles.